What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Super excited for today. We should be able to make a ton of progress on the Hyperblue Evo 8 build. All right, right off the bat, the other day, I think it was 2 days ago, on Instagram, I did a little poll and I asked the question, what else should we do while the motor is out of the car? Well, the whole drivetrain, while everything is out of the car. Had a ton of good comments. One of the most popular ones was to do a full build on the bottom end. Let me kind of fill you guys in on the scoop if you don't really know what we're doing. A couple months ago, maybe about half a year ago, we picked up a turbo kit for the Evo 8, all right? Now, don't mind it right now. Obviously, we're gonna go through this and clean it up, Cerakote the hot side, most likely powder coat the cold side, and we still need to do something with the manifold. This turbo is a 6266, same turbo that we run on the Evo 10, and on pump gas, we're expecting north of 500 wheel. That's the plan. This car made 550 or 545, 550 wheel on pump, 703 on E. E85 is such a pain to run though, because we have to buy it by the barrel and it's not fun. So I never run this car on E. I never run the black Evo 8 on E. So I'll probably never run this on E. So for now, we do just plan on sticking with pump gas. So now that you know what turbo we're running, she's kind of a big boy. It's not like massive or anything, but it's a decent size. One of the most common things was build the bottom end for the Evo 8. Here's our current bottom end. It's all stock, nothing's done to it. Stock crank, stock rods, stock pistons, stock bearings. It is the Evo 6. After doing some research, it appears that the Evo 6 rods are a little bit weaker than the Evo 8, Evo 9 rods. I'll just get right to the point. If this video gets 7,000 likes, 7,000 thumbs up clicks, we will build the bottom end for this thing. I don't think it's necessarily like required for the power level that we're going to. We're not gonna make a ton of torque with a 6.2, but if you guys wanna see it, I'll spend the money, I'll do the thing, I'll tear into the bottom end. We'll do rods, we'll do pistons, obviously bearings, ARP studs, all the goodies. I'm assuming it's still an 85 mil bore. I should probably measure it real quick in case this video just pops off and we somehow get 7,000 likes. I'm gonna go measure the bore. I believe it's still a stock bore, which is 85 mil. It is indeed an 85 mil bore, so that's kind of cool. Throw in a set of pistons, make power, and we won't have to worry about it. I don't know. If you guys want to see that, go hit that thumbs up button. 7,000 within the next 48 hours, all right? We'll do it. Since we are already on the topic of this turbo kit, we are going to be sending out the cold side to Turbo Lab of America. They did something called the T51R mod on the 10. I know my shop's a mess, guys. It's okay. The T51R mod just has this crazy whine, crazy spool sound to it, and I really, really enjoy it. So while we have some downtime still before the car goes back together, we're gonna send this into Turbo Lab of America. They're gonna do their thing with the T51R mod. And we're also gonna be going through this turbo. Being that it's a used turbo, I don't know how many miles are on or any sort of details really. We're gonna run through and slap some new seals in it, which are also provided by Turbo Lab of America. I don't know if we're gonna get around to that today, but we definitely need to get this cold side off, get it shipped out. Let's pull the manifold off the turbo, this little elbow wastegate setup off the turbo as well. All you have to do to get the cold side off is just take out these bolts and these little plates right here, and the cold side will slide off. We got the entire turbo torn down, and here is the part that we're gonna be sending in. I'm not a machinist, but from what I understand, they machine out this inlet right here, and they'll add in another sleeve. So there's like a groove or like a ring around this inlet, and when air goes through, travels through that inlet, it just makes a crazy whistle sound. I'm sure some people might think that's a little bit ricer, and maybe it is, but at the end of the day, it's one of my favorite mods that we've done on the Evo 10, and it did not hurt the performance whatsoever. It made the same exact numbers on the dyno, so it doesn't hurt the performance, and it sounds amazing. It's a win-win. It looks like she was definitely leaking a little bit of oil through the seals. There's a little bit of oil residue on this housing, so good thing that we're gonna slap some new seals in it. All right, we're all finished up with this turbo. Let's get all this stuff set aside. We do need to run through one of these days and obviously clean everything up. That hot side's crusty. And then this manifold, I don't even know what to do with the manifold. I don't want to Cerakote it black. It always looks good, but there's gonna be, I feel like there's gonna be already so much black in the bay that I don't want to blacken manifold. It would be nice to have it like completely polished out. And then after you run it a few times, it'll kind of get heat treated and like colored, burnt looking. I think that'd be really cool. So we might end up doing that. We got one CV axle completed last night, but being that I broke so many clamps, I had to steal clamps from the other CV axle. Long story short, we need to go find some new clamps in town so we can get the, I believe it'd be the driver's side is the longer one. Passenger side is short, I believe. I may have that mixed up, but we might as well pull out a fun car. That one is buried in parts. So Evo 8 it is. Let's go for a rip, boys. All right, we got some clamps. I got tons of extras because I'm sure we're gonna break some, but let's rip back to the shop, get the CV axle together. Gang, gang, gang. Ooh, white Evo. Damn, it looks good. Hello, friends. Every day I see a Subi in town, but very rarely do you see an Evo, especially like an 8 or a 9. Especially white. White's definitely the best color for an 8 or 9, I think. So I know I said previously I don't want to touch anything else on the car until the transfer, the trans, and the engine are all complete. The transfer's complete, the trans is complete. The engine, still no word on the head, and now that we're waiting around, if this video pops off, we're doing a full build on that. So that's probably going to be a little bit out, all right? I think it's time to address, I guess you could say, the elephant in the room and do something with the bay on this car. The engine bay on this thing is disgusting. There's black plastic up everywhere. The core support does look like it is tweaked a little bit right here. So try to like match that side, I guess, or pull the black Evo 8 in, check that out. Black plastic up all over the frame rails, broken off bolt for the fender, super dirty, crusty, nasty, junky looking engine bay. And obviously with all of this hours and elbow grease that we're putting into all the other parts on this car, it'd be the biggest letdown in the world, especially to you guys and to myself, if we just left the bay looking like this. Now, I don't know the exact plan, but I never really do. So I'm just gonna start tearing into this thing, cleaning stuff up as we go. Obviously, we're ditching the factory intercooler. I need to make sure that the new intercooler actually fits with this power brace. We may have to space out the power brace a little bit. It's kind of what I'm guessing, because the factory one's like a 2-inch or maybe like a 2 1/4. She's a thin little boy, and the new one's a 3.5 inch, which is a thick little boy. So we got to figure that out. And then of course, everything else we just need to clean up. I don't know where this is going to lead. I feel like this is opening a new can of worms that may take a while to finish, but it's okay because I don't even care. This is gonna make me happy. And hopefully some of you guys will enjoy this as well. So let's dig in and see where this leads. First thing I want to figure out is this intercooler situation. I don't even know if we can run the power brace, so let's pop off probably the power brace and the intercooler and see what's going on. So we got the intercooler mounted up, and it looks like the power brace technically should still clear. It's obviously a tight fit, just like it is on the black 8, but we have like a 1/4 inch, so I think we'll be all right. That makes me happy. I'm a happy camper. Check out the difference in girthiness. Stock boy, AMS boy, overall just like way bigger. Well, we're definitely getting a little bit deep on this thing. Quick little intermission as we're tearing apart the Evo. I'm reading comments on yesterday's video. A lot of you guys are calling me out, and I will admit I did something completely wrong. When we were putting together the CV axle from yesterday, I put all the grease inside the CV boot and none really in the joint itself. So I gotta tear the axle apart. Thankfully the axle we put together today, I packed the joint itself with grease. So we should be good on the one that we did today, but the one yesterday, yeah. You guys are right, I messed up. Never really done CVs before, so we gotta pull that thing back apart real quick and pack the actual joint itself with grease. Thanks for the heads up, boys. This is where we're at right now on the Evo. I kind of figured and decided as we're tearing this thing apart that I might as well just take everything out of the bay so we can really get it spotless. So we're getting there. I wish this harness came out super easily, but unfortunately it does not. I'm not gonna try to pull the harness anymore or the fuse box. We can just kind of leave that dangling, but we got to pull the brake booster and then that ratted up shielding on the firewall. I don't think that's really necessary to be on there, and honestly it's not attractive looking whatsoever. If it was in good shape I would understand, but it's all torn apart everywhere, so I don't really think there's a point in keeping that on there. It's just crusty. Might as well rip that off, throw it in the garbage, and then we can get this thing up in the air and start cleaning. We just keep getting deeper and deeper, which is fun. I don't mind. I want to get this entire firewall stripped down to pretty much nothing. Mainly because I've never done it. And secondly, because I want to make it nice and clean. There's a ton of brake lines. There's the insulation pad like we talked about earlier. I'm going to pop that off. And then there's the ABS pump right there. Some other relays and whatnot, but it shouldn't be too bad to get all of that cleaned off. I was just about to unbolt all the lines from the ABS pump just to get this whole pump off here. And then I traced the lines all the way down. There's only 2 lines we have to pull off from down there, and everything else, all the other lines should come off with the pump, which would be so handy. And I have seen people do like ABS deletes before. I don't know if I want to do an ABS delete on this car. It would make it look so much cleaner, but I don't know if I'd like how it drove. And I don't want to sacrifice a driving experience over a cleaner bay, if you know what I'm saying. 2 lines down there we got to unbolt, and the whole ABS pump with all of the lines in the whole bay should come out. We are certainly all in now on this thing. Oh man, I enjoy this kind of stuff. It's so fun doing things that we've never done before. I did end up getting this installation little firewall heat shield out. I don't think it's necessary to run. Comment below if you think otherwise. If it is, obviously we're gonna buy a new one because this one is destroyed. But I think for the most part, it's gonna look a lot cleaner without that floppy thing on there. The problem now is obviously we can't take the car off the lift. So everything that we're gonna be doing from here on out, cleaning wise, it's all gonna have to be done on the lift. And that's not really a problem except for there's no drain in the shop. And I have seen that comment before, why don't you put a drain in the shop? Got a quote for it. It was over 20 grand to put a drain in the shop, and the shop is not mine. So obviously it's not really worth that investment for me. So as we're degreasing and pressure washing, we're gonna have to push all of the dirty water from here all the way out that door. So it's gonna be a little bit of a pain, but this thing is gonna look minty fresh when we're all finished up with it. I really wish I could just disconnect that harness, but I feel like it could be a lot of extra work. Maybe one day we will get carried away with that and have to pull that harness too. All right, boys, let's get this party started. I got some super clean degreaser in this bottle here, straight 100%, not diluted at all. We're really trying to get this grease and grime off here. So I'm just gonna go through, spray it down, let it sit on there for a while, pressure wash it, probably spray it down again, grab a brush, go through and get as much dirt and grime as we can off this thing. And then like I showed you earlier, this whole core support right here is half plasti dipped. There's some black paint down here. I don't know, the whole thing's just a little bit crusty. So let's see what we can do. Here's a good before, completely gutted except for a harness. All right, we got it fairly cleaned up. It looks 1,000 times better. Actually, it looks way better. Wow. I'm actually kind of impressed. But let's try and get some of this plastic dip off. This stuff is kind of bunk. And what I've used in the past is actually WD-40. If you soak it in WD-40, scrub it a little bit, it should pressure wash right off. Let's give it a shot. Well, I figured they're probably hiding something with the plasti dip, and I was thinking right. Obviously, you're not gonna plasti dip a perfectly good core support. It's pretty evident this car was in some sort of little fender bender or some sort of wreck right here. The headlight was broken, and there's some core support damage as well. We can easily fix all this up, make it nice and pretty again, but it's just kind of funny to see what is underneath the hidden plasti dip job. Some nice bare metal. Beautiful. Unfortunately, we are running out of time for today. Bobby had a launch on Elvenware with a ton of beanies and air fresheners and whatnot, and she really needs help shipping so she can get everything out ASAP. So I'm gonna head back to the house. I need to help her out with that. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much a wrap for today. What car should we drive today? Is it light out still? I think it's still light. 4 p.m.-ish, should still be light. It's kind of light, hell yeah. I'm gonna take the Evo home today. Let's rip.